The world doesn't need more women who play nice, stay quiet, and wait their turn. It needs women who know their worth, speak their truth, and walk away from anything that dims their fire. Strength doesn't show up in your highlight reel. It's in the behind-the-scenes moments no one else sees. It's in the nights you cried and still got up the next morning. It's in the days you doubted everything and still chose to try. The messy parts of your story aren't something to hide or fix. They're the fire that forged your strength. When you pretend everything's perfect, you rob yourself of real power. Because real power doesn't come from pretending. It comes from facing the truth and standing in it unapologetically. The world taught you to be polished, quiet, and pleasing, but your power lives in being raw, honest, and loud when needed. That's where your unstoppable self is born. Too often we silence our struggles because we're afraid they make us look weak, but hiding pain doesn't heal it, it only buries it, and buried pain always finds a way to resurface. You don't have to be ashamed of what broke you. You get to use it as fuel. You get to say, yes, this happened, and I'm still standing. You're not defined by the worst things that happened to you. You're defined by what you did after. You're defined by the decision to keep going when it would have been easier to quit. Owning your story is the first step in rewriting it, and rewriting it is how you become unstoppable. When you embrace every chapter of your life, the wins and the losses, you stop looking for outside approval. You no longer need someone to tell you you're worthy because you've seen what you've overcome. You've been through your own storms and made it out stronger. That kind of self-knowledge makes you bulletproof. It means you're no longer waiting to be saved or chosen. You choose yourself. You accept all the versions of who you've been because they all played a role in building the woman you are now. There's no shame in growth. The only shame is denying your growth to make other people comfortable. There's something powerful about saying, this is who I was, this is what I learned, and this is who I choose to be now. It's taking control of your narrative. It's no longer letting old chapters dictate your future. People will try to remind you of who you used to be. Let them. Because you know better now. You're not the same woman who stayed silent, played small, or tolerated what broke her. You evolved. And evolution isn't always pretty. It's messy, painful, and slow. But it's real. And real growth, that's what makes you unstoppable. Not perfection, not performance, but progress. Owning your story is not just about your past, it's also about taking ownership of your present. It means being radically honest about where you are right now and what you're doing to change. It means calling yourself out when you're stuck in patterns that no longer serve you. Not from a place of shame, but from a place of self-respect. You don't need to pretend you've got it all figured out. You just need to be committed to figuring it out step by step. That honesty with yourself builds self-trust. And when you trust yourself, you stop relying on others to validate your path. The world wants to sell you the idea that strength looks like hustle, perfection, or performance. But true strength is softer. It's grounded in vulnerability, resilience, and truth. When you share your truth, not for attention, but for liberation, you inspire others to do the same. You give people permission to drop the mask. You become the kind of woman who leads by example, not by image. And that's what makes you magnetic. You're not trying to impress. You're here to be real. And in a world full of filters, a real woman is a revolution. There will be people who are uncomfortable with your truth. Let them be uncomfortable. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. You didn't come this far to shrink back for someone else's peace of mind. You didn't heal just to hide. You are not here to be palatable. That means standing tall in your truth, even when it shakes. That means not dimming your light because someone else can't handle the brightness. Your story matters. Every detail of it, even the pieces you thought you had to erase to be accepted. You don't have to broadcast every painful moment to the world, but you do need to stop hiding from yourself. You need to look in the mirror and see the whole woman. The one who fell, the one who rose, and the one who's still becoming. You need to stop editing yourself down to fit in boxes that were never built for you. The messy parts are not proof of failure. They're proof that you've lived, that you've learned, and that you're still standing. That's what strength looks like. It's not polished, it's not perfect, but it's powerful. When you finally accept that your scars tell a story of survival, you stop carrying shame and start carrying pride. Not ego, not arrogance, but pride in your growth. You've walked through pain that could have broken you, but you didn't let it. And that deserves to be honored. And when you meet the world from that place, you no longer settle. You no longer ask for permission. You show up fully. And when you show up fully, opportunities open, the right people stay, and you become impossible to ignore. Because a woman who owns her story is a woman who owns her future. You don't become unstoppable by pretending life hasn't hurt you. You become unstoppable by turning that hurt into wisdom, that pain into power. You become the kind of woman who doesn't just survive, she rises again and again, not because it's easy, but because she refuses to give up on herself. That's not weakness, that's strength in its purest form. And when you step into that version of yourself, no one can take it from you because you didn't fake it, you earned it, you lived it, you became it. Strong women don't just talk about boundaries, they live by them. They know that boundaries are not about shutting people out, but about protecting their own peace. If you want to be unstoppable, you have to stop allowing people to walk through you like you're a doormat. You have to be the one who draws the line and then actually honors it. A boundary without action is just a wish. You don't need to explain yourself, justify your feelings, or apologize for choosing peace. Saying no is a full sentence. Silence is a decision. Distance is a boundary. And how people react to your boundaries says more about them than it ever will about you. Most of the time, the reason people take advantage is because you've trained them that it's okay. You say yes when you mean no. You stay quiet to keep the peace. You smile to avoid conflict. But here's the truth. What you allow is what will continue. You are not doing anyone any favors by betraying yourself. You are simply putting their comfort above your own worth. That's not love. That's self-abandonment. The minute you decide that your peace matters more than pleasing others, you start to take your power back. It starts with the smallest choices. The text you don't feel like answering. The event you really don't want to go to. The person who always leaves you drained. You don't need a dramatic scene to set a boundary. You just need clarity and commitment. You have the right to protect your time, your energy, and your emotional space. You don't owe anyone unlimited access to you. Being unavailable, it makes you exhausted. Boundaries are not walls, they're gates. And not everyone deserves a key. People will test you the moment you decide to stand up for yourself. Some will get angry, some will guilt trip you, some will try to convince you you're selfish. Let them. Because every time you choose your well-being over their expectations, you build a deeper relationship with yourself. That relationship matters more than keeping the peace with people who benefit from your lack of boundaries. You'll notice who respects you and who only liked you when you were easy to manipulate. Let those lessons guide you, not break you. You are not hard to love. You were just giving your love to the wrong people. Boundaries are also a form of self-love. They're not just for difficult people. They're for you. They keep you aligned with your values, your purpose, and your growth. When you don't set them, you lose yourself trying to be everything for everyone. But when you start saying no to what drains you, you make room to say yes to what fuels you. That's when everything starts to shift. You feel lighter, clearer, stronger. You stop second-guessing your instincts and start trusting your gut. Because your energy is your currency, and you should be investing it wisely. Some people won't understand the new version of you who isn't so available anymore. They'll say you've changed, and they're right. You've changed because you had to, because the version of you that tolerated everything wasn't sustainable. She was tired, resentful, and running on empty. You're not obligated to stay the same just to make others comfortable. And the people who truly care about you will adjust. The ones who don't were only there for the version of you that didn't know how to say enough. The more boundaries you set, the more people you'll lose, and that's a good thing. You're not meant for everyone. You're not meant to be stretched thin, torn in pieces, or constantly misunderstood. You're meant to be whole, and staying whole requires choosing yourself again and again. It's not selfish, it's essential. The strongest women are not the ones who endure the most. They're the ones who finally say, I'm not doing this anymore. That one sentence changes lives. That one sentence sets you free. Boundaries teach people how to love you, not by controlling them, but by showing them what's okay and what's not. If someone can't handle your boundaries, they were never meant to stay. Love isn't proven through sacrifice. It's shown through respect. And respect means listening when someone says this hurts or this doesn't work for you. By how you show up for you, by how you show up for yourself. That's the kind of energy that commands respect without saying a word. There is nothing more powerful than a woman who knows what she will and won't tolerate. She walks differently. She speaks with more conviction. She doesn't shrink to make people comfortable. She doesn't chase. She doesn't beg. She doesn't justify her worth because she knows what she brings to the table. And she's not afraid to eat alone. That kind of confidence is magnetic. It's not loud, but it's unforgettable. People might not always like it, but they will respect it. And the ones who don't, let them go. Every time you set a boundary, you honor the woman you're becoming. You send a message to the world. I matter, my voice matters, my time matters, my energy is not for sale. You stop asking for permission and start living with intention. And that's the shift that changes everything. Because the truth is, you're not here to please everyone. You're here to be real, be free, and be fully you. That starts with drawing a line and not being afraid to enforce it. That's how you become unstoppable. Confidence is not something you are born with. It's something you build, and it's built through action. Every single time you keep a promise to yourself, you stack confidence. It's not about pretending you're fearless. It's about showing up, even when your hands are shaking and your voice is trembling. Confidence grows in discomfort, in risk, in the moments where you decide to speak up instead of shrink. The strongest women aren't the ones who never doubt themselves. They're the ones who take action anyway. Confidence is built like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And that starts with doing the things that scare you. You don't need permission to take up space. You don't need validation to be bold. Confidence is about trusting yourself enough to walk into a room and not look around for approval. You already belong. You don't need to be the smartest, the prettiest, or the loudest. You just need to show up as the most real version of yourself. That woman, she's magnetic because people are drawn to authenticity more than perfection. The world doesn't need another copy. It needs your fire, your flaws, your full presence. You are more than enough when you stop editing yourself. Taking action is the number one way to silence doubt. Fear will always try to talk you out of doing the hard thing. It will tell you that you're not ready, that you'll fail, that people will judge you. But here's the secret. Confidence doesn't come first. Action does. You build belief by doing. You build certainty by trying, failing, learning, and trying again. You don't wait for the perfect time, you create it. Every bold step you take becomes proof that you're capable. And every piece of evidence you collect stacks into confidence. Stop waiting to feel confident before you move. That feeling won't magically show up one day. It's created by motion, not waiting. Think of the times you were terrified to try something new and then did it anyway. That's the exact process that rewires your brain. Every time you take a step outside your comfort zone, you shrink fear's power over you. It doesn't mean fear disappears, but it loses control. You don't get stronger by staying comfortable. You get stronger by doing the thing that makes you nervous and realizing you survived. One of the most powerful confidence builders is owning your voice. Speak the truth even when your voice shakes. Don't water yourself down just because someone else can't handle your clarity. People will have opinions. They'll label you too much, too opinionated, too strong. Let them. Because the moment you stop people pleasing is the moment you start living. When you start showing them you believe in yourself, that shift changes everything. Confidence isn't loud, it's grounded. Another huge part of confidence is keeping the promises you make to yourself. Every time you say you'll do something and actually follow through, you strengthen your self-trust. That's the foundation of unstoppable women. It's not about being perfect. It's about being reliable to yourself first. When you say you'll get up early and you do, you prove to yourself that your word matters. When you say you'll leave that toxic relationship and you actually leave, you build unshakable faith in your own power. That's how confidence is born. Comparing yourself to others is the fastest way to kill your confidence. There will always be someone who's further ahead, who seems more successful, who looks like they have it all together. But you're not here to compete, you're here to become. You're not meant to be a carbon copy of anyone else. You have a unique path, and your timing is perfect even when it doesn't feel like it. The strongest women are the ones who cheer for others while staying rooted in their own lane. Confidence thrives in self-focus, not comparison. Keep your eyes on your own paper. You also build confidence by learning how to fail without falling apart. Failure is not a sign that you're not good enough. It's feedback. It's a redirection. It's a necessary part of success. Every strong woman you admire has failed more times than you've even tried. The difference is they didn't let it define them. They used it to refine them. Confidence isn't about never falling. It's about learning how to rise again and again. You develop resilience through every fall. And that resilience is what turns you into a force. Confidence has everything to do with how you talk to yourself. Your inner voice is either your biggest cheerleader or your worst critic. If you constantly tell yourself you're not good enough, not ready, not worthy, your actions will match that belief. But if you shift that voice to one of encouragement, compassion, and truth, you unlock your friend the way you talk to yourself sometimes. So why do it? You deserve to be on your own team. You deserve to hype yourself up because the way you talk to yourself shapes your reality. You don't need to be fearless to be confident. You just need to stop letting fear make your decisions. Take the leap. Ask for the raise, set the boundary, launch the idea, walk away from what no longer serves you. The more you act, the more you believe, and that belief, it's what fuels unstoppable momentum. The kind of momentum that doesn't wait for motivation, but creates its own fire. That's what confidence looks like in real life. Not perfect, not polished, but powerful, because when you decide to stop doubting and start doing, you become unstoppable. The women who become unstoppable are the ones who learn to master their emotions. Not suppress, not ignore, master. That means understanding that your emotions are valid, but they don't always tell the truth. Just because you feel unworthy doesn't mean you are. Just because you feel scared doesn't mean you're in danger. Emotional maturity is the difference between reacting and responding. It's pausing, reflecting, and choosing the response that aligns with your power. When you start leading yourself through emotional storms with clarity, everything changes. You stop living in reaction and start creating intentionally. Strength is not found in pretending everything is fine. It's found in facing your pain, your triggers, and your patterns with honesty. That means you don't avoid hard conversations anymore. You have them. You don't run from uncomfortable feelings. You sit with them. You learn to feel everything, but still move forward. That's emotional strength. That's what allows you to show up for your life with both grace and fun. When you understand your emotions, you become less controlled by them. And that's how you start making powerful decisions. Your ability to stay calm in chaos is a superpower. When people try to provoke you, manipulate you, or pull you into drama, and you don't react, you win. Not because you're cold, but because you've trained yourself to respond with purpose. Emotional control isn't about being numb, it's about being wise with your anger. Not every comment deserves a reply. When you learn to protect your peace, you stop giving away your power. And that's when you become unshakable in the face of adversity. The strongest women don't pretend to be perfect. They practice self-awareness, they recognize their emotional patterns, and they take full responsibility. If you constantly feel anxious, resentful, or overwhelmed, those emotions are clues. They're signals that something needs to shift. Maybe it's a boundary you haven't set. Maybe it's a voice that you haven't used. When you stop blaming others and start owning your emotional responses, you take control of your healing. And healing isn't a sign of weakness. It's the foundation of real strength. You also need to understand that not everyone is meant to walk with you forever. Some people are chapters, not lifetimes, and that's okay. The moment you let go of the need to be understood or accepted by everyone is the moment you get your freedom back. Emotional mastery means grieving losses without losing yourself. It means letting go with peace instead of clinging out of fear. Not everyone will see your growth as a good thing. Let them misunderstand you. You don't owe them an explanation. It's easy to get emotionally exhausted when you're constantly giving, fixing, and over-supporting. But real strength means knowing when to stop. You are not responsible for other people's happiness. You are not here to carry what isn't yours. Learning to step back, to say no, to protect your time and heart, that's emotional growth. And yes, people might get upset, but that discomfort is a sign you're finally choosing yourself. The strongest version of you doesn't run on guilt. She runs on boundaries, clarity, and emotional truth. Another key to emotional mastery is learning how to sit with discomfort. Most people run the moment things feel hard. They distract, deny, or dive into toxic patterns. But you learn to stay. You learn to feel the sadness without letting it burn you out. You stop avoiding your emotions and start allowing them to move through you. That's where your strength is built, in the stillness, in the honesty, in the healing. You don't need to be afraid of feeling anymore. When you can navigate conflict without losing your integrity, you become unstoppable. Strong women don't scream to be heard, they speak with presence. They don't attack, they express. They don't silence their truth, they share it with intention. Mastering your emotions means you can disagree without disrespect. You can communicate with power, not just passion. This level of emotional intelligence changes your relationships because you stop reacting from wounds and start showing up from wisdom. Emotional strength is knowing when to rest, not just when to push. It's recognizing burnout before it consumes you. It's pausing before you snap. It's learning that being soft is not being weak. There is power in tears. There is courage in slowing down. There is magic in choosing peace over proving a point. Strong women don't just fight. They also recover. They listen to their bodies, their intuition, and their needs. They honor their emotional cycles instead of ignoring them for productivity. And that self-respect becomes their power source. You are not your emotions. You are the observer of them. That's the secret to emotional freedom. When you stop identifying with the anger, the sadness, the fear, you unlock your power. You learn to witness your feelings without becoming them. That space between emotion and reaction, that's where you breathe, choose, and rise. The more you practice that awareness, the more grounded you become, and the more grounded you are, the less anyone can shake you. That's how unshakable women are made.